Hi, my name is Richie. I'll be showing you guys my graphics demonstration. I'm just going to quickly go over the shader first, and then I'm going to show you guys the textures, and then I'll jump into the actual execution of the program here. So in the shader, I have a few different kind of modes that I can be rendering in. There's a mode which will allow me to debug the normals. I set the normal value as the RGB value of the pixel. I have a do not lighting mode, or do not light mode, which will just set the color of the pixel as the object's color itself. There's a mode for just rendering the skybox, which samples from the cube map skybox. It takes a sphere with inverted normal. I invert the normals of the sphere, and then I sample the cube map with that. And then I have the transparency discard mode, where I can pass in a discard texture and a parameter of how how dark the discard will be, or how, sorry, might make more sense if I pull up the texture. The actual discard texture is how dark the pixel needs to be to get discarded. That's what I'm trying to say. And then I have a texture mode, which will take in the lighting, and it modulates multiple textures. I only have it up to 3 right now, but I could just keep going up to as many as I would like, as many as the graphics card will support, I guess. And then I take that and I add the light to it, and I have this ambient coloring. So it's if the lighting level is below like this ambient threshold, I bring it up to that minimum amount of lighting. And then I have a no texture mode, which just sets the color to the lighting, and this is with the ambient color and the diffuse color again. And last, the transparency. Okay. I think. Oh, there was one other thing with the vertex shader. I can do height maps, so I can load a texture in and offset the height of that texture by the. Right now I just have it for the Y, but I could do X, Y, Z for RGB and offset the height. I do that in here. This is my little demo scene. The height map I have working on this water here. You can see it's kind of bumping. Oop, it's kind of bumpy around. And I also have it on the terrain is a height map. If we go into the folder here again, you can see the actual height map for the water here. It's just this black and white image I found online. And the height map for the terrain is actually a map of, I think, Game of Thrones. And you could see I think we're somewhere in this the east island on the west side of it. If we go back into the program now, um, I got an interactive camera. I have transparent objects. You can see the discard transparency on these as well. That's that hexagonal texture I was showing you guys. And you can see right through that. If I move around, you can see the object behind. It's kind of hard to see through this one because it's really, let's use these two. You can see the one behind it. And if I go to the other side of it, it sorts the order of them so that I can see it behind it as well. And that's doing it for all the transparent objects. Now I have a few point lights on the back of this ship here for the engines. There's a couple point lights on these tanks. I can actually turn those off, and it also turns off the laser from this ship. I'll talk about that one in a sec. These guys all have little texture. It's just a metal texture on these two. These ones I found online. They were fully textured. I think they ripped it from the video game. They look a lot like the ones on the PC game, Halo. And you can see I got a little bit of specular highlighting on the. I guess the treads don't have the right texture, but I got the specular highlighting on that there. This ship here is actually using 3 textures, I believe. There's a base texture, and then there's like 2. Um, these energy textures are being modulated into it. It's kind of hard to see them because they get really bright. This is the original texture here, and then these 2 get modulated onto it. And I'm moving the UV around in the in the program, I'm moving the UV for those two textures in different directions, so you can see this kind of cool. It's like the effect I was trying to go for would be like energy shielding or something over top of the ship. I think it does a okay enough job doing that. Not the best effect, but I think it looks pretty good. And then, yeah, the laser beam it's shooting on that building down there. I can toggle that on and off along with those lights there. As well, just to demonstrate, I can move individual lights, and I could change their brightness. Oh, those ones are set up with quadratic. I don't have that one. Maybe this one I could change. Yeah, I can change the brightness of this one because it's not using the quadratic attenuation. But you can see I get really bright and it starts glitching out. But this is just a spotlight, and I can move it up, and now it looks really it looks really weird. Anyway, oh that's so bright. I can move individual objects as well. Maybe it'd be good if I show one of the transparent ones being moved. Bring this guy forward. I can rotate them individually however I like, and you can see that the ones behind it are still being rendered. Even all the way through, I can get like 3 in a row here somewhere. Yeah, you can see all 3 of them through the one. So everything's lining up correctly. And I think that was just about everything I had to show for this little demo. It wasn't quite 100% what I wanted. I wanted to get some more tanks and stuff. Some more alien tanks over here that they can be shooting at. Maybe have alien flying things and stuff like that, but I'm starting to run out of time. Anyway, I thank you all for watching, and have a good day. Yeah, I just realized I forgot to show the normal as color. So you see here I'm rendering the colors based on the normals of the objects. And if I rotate some of these objects, you can see that the normals are being updated correctly. So I can spin that one around. Oh, sorry. I can spin that around now. All the normals are going different directions. They're all being updated at runtime.